Man, Steelers got me messed up. They got me in here with a fresh haircut. They got me in here chopping off the hair, man, looking for a fresh start. I think the Steelers would do good by doing that as well. I think that's what it's all about right now on this Monday morning after week 1 of the NFL season. At least if you're from Pittsburgh, you root for the Steelers, or if you play for the Steelers. We on to next week, man. Like yesterday was a disaster, but it is what it is. It's only one game. We are moving on. Clean things up, get things going in the right direction, and I think we'll be fine. But that's not, I'm telling you, man, that is not what a lot of the reaction has been, though, over the last 24 hours. Because it's been fire Tomlin, fire Canada, cut Pickett, or at least it's time to start thinking in a different direction for quarterback. Do we tank for Caleb Williams? Pickett ain't the guy. Pickett ain't him anymore. Who else? Special teams, Danny Smith. He's getting some shots at too, for sure. Najee. I guess there hasn't been too much on Najee in terms of negative reactions. Defense, yeah, definitely. Pat P's washed. Clean house. I mean, that's sometimes that's the crux of all of the negativity. It's time to clean house. I've had enough of this. Like this is just too far. The Steelers have gone too far. There's no coming back anymore. Like there's no way that we can recover from this. I even got friends, man, hitting me up saying like, "Don't talk to me until Pickett throws for 2 touchdowns in a game because you misled me on Pickett, man. Pickett's trash. Pickett's garbage." Deke, come on. Where were you this offseason with your takes? You're off. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know ball. This is my friends hitting me up, man. Like I'm getting disowned by them even too over this week 1 game. A lot of hot takes going on right now. A lot of overreactions, I think, because again, it's only 1 game. It's only 1 game, man. Week 1 of the NFL season. So here's what I'll say. We were supposed to do report cards for today's stream on Steeler players, coaches, and all that. But I think it's pointless because the only guy, maybe 2 guys that would get a passing grade is TJ Watt. And I guess you could say McFarland, but he wasn't on the field enough to have that much of an impact one way or another. He just looked good in the return game. But TJ Watt, yeah, of course, he gets an A. Everyone else, no one gets anything above a C, right? So what's the point? What's the difference between me giving Pickett a C minus or a D or a D plus or an F and say it goes for any of the other players? Like no one passed. It was unacceptable. But what I will do instead of the report cards and the grading, let me go over why I think we're going to be good, man. Let me tell you why that we should go the Aaron Rodgers approach. RELAX. Relax. Because we're going to bounce back. But let me give a shout out to some of the people in the chat before I dig into some of the things I noticed today on my rewatch of the Steelers 49ers week 1 game. Come through some of the finer details. And again, I'll try to talk Steeler Nation off a ledge here. Yeah, we got the takes coming in. We got the takes coming in. S. Thompson 71, Matt Canada's fault. Bobby Holloman 3, not gonna lie, Pickett looked like a backup QB. D. Jonesy, fire Canada ASAP. No 412. We gonna flip the script, bro. We got fake fans. Mac backwards. I need this for my therapy. LOL. Justin Bodfield says, Deke, we can't move the ball. Yeah, it was tough yesterday. It wasn't a good game. I just said with my report cards, TJ Watt would be the only one that gets a passing grade. I guess Deontay didn't look bad. He got hurt, though. Deontay didn't look bad. Pickens didn't look bad. I guess the receivers as a whole weren't terrible, at least for the passes that they were thrown. But at the same time, if you saw some of the replays, there were instances where I didn't think they were getting open at a high enough clip. Yep, more fire Canada. C knees 1. Javi Berg saying those are some real friends right there. Miles 04. Terrell Austin got a pass this offseason because of the hate for Canada. Yeah, defense wasn't good either. You want to put that on Tomlin, Terrell Austin, whoever. Yeah, I don't think our guys were in the best of spots. We got some compliments on the haircut. Thank you. Yeah, it was just a bad day for me. D Wilson 165 says, my friends are grinding me up too. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, we had the Pickett performance yesterday, and obviously I was going into this season telling everyone that Pickett is going to be elite, right? And he had the showing that he had, and then you got dudes like Tua, who I think are trash, throwing for over 400 yards and beating Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Kirk Cousins, even though the Vikings lost and Cousins lost, he threw for like 340 or almost 350. Yeah, things got flipped upside down in my football world yesterday, or at least what I was expecting. But I still stand by my takes. I'm not jumping off. It's one game. It's week 1. I'm not jumping off. No way. Tua is still not good. He's overrated. Kirk Cousins, not good. And I think the Vikings losing that game too shows why Kirk Cousins, even though he could pad up the stat sheet, just not a franchise guy, not an elite guy, not in the top 10. See, look, I'm getting chirped right here from you guys. D Jax, Kenny Pickett, still a top 3 QB, Deke. I said by season's end, he's going to be in that top 3. By season's end. We got 16 more games to play. Quiz 2 wavy. We're going to be okay by week 2 or 3. For sure. For sure. And I actually wish I would have included that part of it in my intro. But there is a world easily by the end of September, the Steelers are 3-1 and sit atop of the AFC North. Because this week we got the Browns, who even though they beat the Bengals pretty handedly, I still didn't get to see much of that game. But by all accounts, Deshaun Watson didn't look that amazing. It's not like the Browns were that good. It was more that the Bengals were just that bad. So you mean to tell me we couldn't come out after the embarrassing performance we just had against the 49ers too, having a chip on our shoulder, take care of business at home on a Monday Night Football, and all of a sudden we're 1-1, beat the Browns. And then the next 2 games, we got Raiders on the road, who they didn't look that impressive against the Broncos. Didn't they only put up like 17 points? So we beat them on the road 2-1, and then we got the Texans, who look like they're going to be pretty dismal this year. 3-1, end of September. Worst case, like a 2-2, still in the mix. Like, can we at least give it a month before we're firing Tomlin, firing Canada, or saying that Pickett sucks and we need to move on? Can we give it just a month at least before we have some of those takes? That's all I'm saying. Okay, MJM430 says the Browns were locking up. So their defense was good. Their offense wasn't that amazing, but their defense kept them in it. Yeah, I didn't get to see the game. Obviously, I'm going to have to watch it at some point this week before we preview Steelers-Browns. All right, let me talk a little bit about the Steelers-Niners game, though. Again, this is the second watch. This was the rewatch I just did a couple hours ago. And this is why I don't think we're in that much trouble. The sky is not falling. It was just a weird game, man. It was a weird game. I truly think there was a Murphy's Law element to this one for the Steelers, where what could go wrong did go wrong. And I'm not saying we should have or could have won if circumstances played out differently or anything like that. But there were a lot of things that happened in the first half that didn't go our way, and things just snowballed. So one is the turf and just slipping. Pat P on the first touchdown to Ayuk, he was in position. You could even see him pointing out to the safety across from him. I can't remember if it was Neal or Casey. He was like, you got that guy. I got this guy. I got Ayuk. And then Ayuk just makes a little cut in the middle of the end zone, and Pat P slips, and it's 6 for the 49ers. So there's that. And then I think it was the next series or the series or two after that. It was pretty close with that Pat P touchdown being let up. Pickett throws a pass to Deontay Johnson. I do think it was ill-advised. It wasn't the best of decisions. But if Deontay Johnson doesn't slip, I don't think the 49ers get that interception. And then consequently, they don't get as good field position. But that's the thing. 49ers were able to take advantage of all of our misfortunes. And to their credit, that's the type of thing you have to do. If you get turnovers, you get good field position, take advantage of it and stomp on the opposition's throats. And the 49ers did just that. You got to also consider it was us doing stupid stuff a lot. I already mentioned the interception by Pickett. That was ill-advised. Now, did the slip have anything to do with it with Deontay? I think so. But also, we had penalties galore in that first half. We were constantly shooting ourselves in the foot in all three phases. And it just didn't feel like we were putting ourselves in the right positions, if that makes sense. Like defensively, guys were missing assignments, like in the running game. Why do you think McCaffrey was getting off for some of those chunk runs? And then even his big run in the second half, he went 65 for a touchdown. It felt like we were actually in position this time. So it felt like we were out of position for runs in the first half. But then second half, we were right there. Like worst case, that was going to be like a 3-yard run. We have two guys there to tackle him. But McCaffrey spins off a dude. We miss a tackle. And then he was off to the races. Like it never felt like to me the 49ers just had their way with the Steelers. And there was nothing that they could do that we were, how do I phrase this? There was nothing that they were doing that we couldn't stop. You know what I mean? Like there was I'm trying to think of a game or two to compare it to last year. I almost would compare it to the Eagles game last year, where it was only 3 or 4 plays that the Eagles had that put them up by such a high margin, but it was us being in bad positions, Ahkello Witherspoon getting mossed by A.J. Brown. But throughout the rest of the game, it felt like we were with the Eagles in a sense. Now, of course, the Eagles did still have an edge throughout. They beat us. Like, I can't say, oh, man, if those 3 touchdowns didn't happen with A.J. Brown, we would have won. But that's kind of how it felt with this Niners game. Like, the Niners just took advantage of misfortunes, opportunities that they were given. To their credit, they did that. But at the same time, like you see how the second half played out, I thought it was more even than even what the score indicated. Now, we didn't put up any points on the board, but we were getting down into the 49ers territory. We were taking shots in the end zone. If the game wasn't so out of hand, we would have taken some field goals. You know what I mean? Like the Niners only put up 10 points. One of those came off the 65-yard Christian McCaffrey touchdown run that, again, I thought we were in position for. And then they got a field goal. Steelers, we were able to move the ball. Now, can you say the Niners were in some soft coverage? Yeah, that could be true too. But I think the game was a little bit more even in the second half and a little bit more close than what the score indicated. Obviously, you got to go off of what the final score is, though. That's our record right now, 0-1. But all those factors into play, the weird game flow, us shooting ourselves in the foot, the Niners getting up, the Niners also having a good defense that it obviously wouldn't be easy for us to come back on. There's still hope, man. There's still hope. There's still hope. So let me check what you guys are saying in reaction to my little spiel right there. And then we'll get into some topics that I'm seeing pop up today. Some hot topics, actually. One of them has to do with Pickett and Pickens, the Pickett to Pickens connection. We got TJ Watt and JJ Watt saying the secondary was just atrocious. There's 25 outcoached. They were ready and we were not. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. It definitely is a good way to put it. Ovokes, fire Matt Canada. Doesn't matter how well we play. We will not be a contender with him calling plays, period. Yeah, this is what I kept seeing pop up throughout the whole game. That's the problem. We were able to contain George Kittle. We were able to contain Deebo Samuel, but we had no answer for Brandon Ayuk. No answer for him. He kept getting open. Like that was the one problem I had because everywhere else, McCaffrey did gash us on occasion, but it was Ayuk that we just couldn't defend. It was like, do we have to start doubling this guy or what? And that was disappointing too, because you got a guy like Pat P that you just signed this offseason. We're really excited about. Hall of Famer. Still think that he has some gas left in the tank. but he was giving up plays to Ayuk. Also, Levi Wallace coming off of a career year last year with 4 interceptions. I don't remember Levi Wallace really getting cooked at a high clip in 2022. But to see him and Pat P have problems with, like you're saying, Ayuk's not even a top 10 guy, unless this is going to be his breakout season where he starts getting into the top 10 receiver conversations. I don't know. But yeah, he had a good game and little disconcerting. We'll say that. Yeah, Wallace was on him, but Pat P was on him too for a couple times. But actually, going back to that, what I was saying with just things weren't going our way. Pat P had good coverage on the second Ayuk touchdown. Like, that was excellent coverage. Now he kind of got mossed in a way. Kind of got mossed. Like, got to make a play there. But it's great coverage. Like, I don't think that play for the 49ers is sustainable. It's just that they caught it 1 out of the 10 times you toss it up like that. They were actually able to get it that one time. You know what I mean? That's not a high percentage play, not a high percentage throw. I mean, Pat P on Ayuk, great coverage. I mean, yeah, that's probably not a complete pass 80 to 90% of the time. But that one time in this game, it happened. They got a touchdown. And that, again, is how the game flow shifted a little bit. Just think if we were able to get a stop on defense there, they kick a field goal. Instead of 17-0, it's only 13-0. We're down 2 scores. All right, let's relax. Let's recollect on offense. Let's at least get points up on the board here. Get it to 13-3. If not, we get it to 13-7. And, it's a close game. 1-score game. No big deal, right? But it just seemed like all this stuff was snowballing. Us shooting ourselves in the foot, the penalties, stuff like that on a good coverage play. They're able to get a touchdown. And Pat P missing that 1 interception. Cole Holcomb missing the 1 interception that Purdy threw us across the field. Like, those were 2 opportunities right there that we just had misplays on. Again, it just didn't seem like the 49ers were doing something that was absolutely unstoppable. It was just us taking bad breaks on things, doing bad things on our own end, having some injuries like Deontay Johnson, 3rd quarter. Like, that's a big deal. He's our receiver that gets the most separation. We also had Cam Hayward, our best interior defensive lineman, go out for pretty much the whole game. I don't really even remember him being out there at all. He got that groin injury early, and then it was just the Marvin Leal, Keanu Benton, Isaiah Loudermilk. Yep, Jumanji says Steelers dug themselves into a hole and couldn't get out. On to next week. That's how I feel like. Tough game flow. Niners, good team. I think we'll get things right. I think this was a wake-up call for us. We were getting some buzz throughout the preseason. We were getting some hype. I don't know how much the players are listening to that at all, but I'm sure they are on their phones. A lot of people are saying Steelers are going to win the AFC North. They're sleepers to be AFC contenders. Pickett's going to break out. I'm sure players are seeing that, but this was a little wake-up call. And what's that one saying? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We still here. We got 16 more games. We'll learn from this. Move on. Come on, get out of here with this. T-Pack says, bring back Duck. No. Come on, dude. Come on. Steel fan DK says, we need to draft a stud inside linebacker this year for sure. My man's already on to the next draft. I'm not saying you're wrong. I do think we need to address inside linebacker early in the 2024 draft. Someone's bringing up Presley Harvin. Zach Gazelle 15 says, God, I hate Presley Harvin. Now, I think that's a little bit too far, but upon second viewing, he wasn't as consistent as I thought. I thought because he punted a lot, he wasn't that bad, but he had some good ones. He had some bad ones. So, yeah, even Presley Harvin wouldn't have escaped a poor report card grade if we were to do the grading, like I said at the beginning. All right, let's get into a couple of things that have popped up today, though. I've been seeing people. I want to get your guys' opinion on this, and actually, I think I'm going to make a poll. Let's see how this goes. What is your faith, or how do I want to phrase this? How concerned are you for Kenny Pickett? How concerned are you for Kenny Pickett now going forward? Because the reason I ask this is because we know what the vibes were heading into week 1, right? I wasn't the only one saying Kenny Pickett's going to put the league on notice. Kenny Pickett's going to ascend year 2. Kenny Pickett's going to be in the elite class. I wasn't the only one thinking this. Not only did we get a good sample size from him end of 2022 in regular season games, mind you, we got that. We improved the whole team around him, improved the whole offense around him, but then we got to see it play out in the preseason where he looked really confident, in control, in command, throwing dots all over the place. Perfect passer rating, right? So, like, that was my take. That's where I was sitting a week or two heading into the season. Pickett is going to show out, right? Pickett's going to outplay Purdy week 1. He's going to dot up the 49ers defense. Even though they're a good defense, I think we're going to have something for them. Now, those things didn't play out in week 1, but I'm not changing my opinion of a year 2 jump for Kenny Pickett. Like, that's still going to happen. He missed some throws, man. He missed some throws, and there might have been some miscommunication on some of them too. He mentioned that in his post-game presser. Yeah, he was off. He was off, and he brought up a good point. The Niners are a little bit better of a defense than what we were facing in preseason. So this was just a little heat check moment, right? Happens in basketball. You're tossing up 3-pointers. You make like 3-4 in a row. Sometimes you need a heat check. You chuck one up, even though you're covered a little bit. It's like, all right, we're not all the way there just yet. But let's not forget, I just made like 3 or 4 threes in a row. Like, I'm still a decent 3-point shooter. So, yeah, I think Pickett has shown all the signs that he's getting there, man. He's getting there. Don't let this one game throw you off from that. Okay, let me get back to this question. How concerned so this is why I'm asking the question. I want to see your guys' answer. How concerned are you for Kenny Pickett? Are you how concerned are you about Kenny Pickett? How about that? Better phrasing. Are you I will give you very concerned, mildly not concerned, like you're just even keel, or still optimistic. How about that? I think this will work. I did one of these in the past. Did that pop up for everyone? Chowder Ryan says, "Yo, D, Kenny looked flustered in his debut against the Jets, but still looked better than yesterday." Yeah, it might be fair to say that was his worst performance he's had. Like, yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But I do have this stat. This is interesting, though. This is interesting. Not saying this is the be all end all, or we should flip up and say, "Oh, Pickett actually had a decent performance." It was everything else around him that was bad. But this popped up on my Twitter. Let me do a quick screen share for you guys. It's just something interesting, just to give perspective at least. AFC North QBRs in week 1. Now, I don't even know what the QBR numbers were, but amongst all the other AFC North quarterbacks, and amongst the guys that we got to play twice a year in our division, Pickett was second for week 1. So how about that? Deshaun Watson at 9. Kenny Pickett, 21. Not good. I mean, that's still bottom 10, bottom third of the league's QBRs. But then you compare him to Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow and Lamar, based off QBR, had worse games. Now, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens got the dub. I would take the dub all day over having a better QBR or any stats or QB ratings. It's all about getting the dub. So I will say that. But just something to think about, just some perspective before, again, we start trying to look for different quarterbacks or start saying that Pickett can't be the guy or anything like that. TJ Watt, JJ Watt says rebuild the line. We did rebuild the line. That's the part that kind of sucked about yesterday. Although Niners have one of the better D lines in the league. We think we're on that level. This is the part that is frustrating because we could say, oh man, we just, we played up against a good team. It is what it is, right? But I thought we were on that level. It's just, I guess we aren't right now, but it's a long season. You can start to find your identity. You can start to right the ship. There's 16 more games. Hell, I said let's wait till September plays out before we have any of these fire takes or fire comments, fire Tomlin, fire Canada, all that. We got answers for the poll on Kenny Pickett here? Okay. How concerned are you about Kenny Pickett? The results, you guys are in the middle. In the middle. It's either you're mildly concerned, that's 38%. Optimistic is the second highest at 36%. Not concerned at 23, and then very concerned, only 2 of you guys voted that way. That's 4%. Yeah, so it seems like we're between mildly and still optimistic. And then some people are in between that and not concerned at all. But then the last thing I wanted to get into, yeah, we got a few more minutes here. What's your guys' takes on the Pickett liked comment on Instagram? And actually, I was gonna say I can make this into a pool question too. But drop it in the chat if you are. I'm actually saying the same thing basically. I was gonna ask to see if you guys are still on the same Pickett projections that you had before going into week 1. Like I had Pickett getting around like potentially 4,000 passing yards, 3,800, 4,000 passing yards, like at least 30 total touchdowns with the passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns combined, less than 10 interceptions. Like, I'm still holding by that too. The tough part is with the interceptions. He already threw 2 this game, but I think he's going to clean it up. He showed last year he has the ability to do that. Only 1 interception in like the final 7 or 8 games. But yeah, I'm still on those projections. Are you guys changing your thoughts of what's expected of Pickett going forward, though? You guys let me know. I'll read some of your comments before we close out. But then the other part of this is the Pickens to, or I'm sorry, the Pickens. I was going to say Pickens to Pickett's connection. I guess it has to do with that a little bit. But Pickens liked comment on Instagram, so he posted a video. I think it was it day of the game, or it's his most recent video. You could go on there, and after the game, he liked a comment that said, let me pull it up for you guys. He liked the comment that said, we don't have anyone to throw him the ball. Nobody to get that man the ball, though. So here it is right here. Nobody to get that man the ball. Where are you at with this? I feel like it's not really that big of a deal. I guess it is something to keep an eye out for. I don't think this is really a shot at Pickett, to be honest with you. I think Pickens is just more frustrated that he didn't get the ball, and rightfully so in a way. Like there were points in that game in the second half where with how our offense was looking, it's just like, hey, we're down like 20 points. Can we just chuck the ball off to Pickens and try to get some splash, try to get a big play? Yeah, Pickens did like that comment. I don't think it's a direct shot at Pickett because there's just been too many comments from Pickens in the past where he's like, Pickett's got that dog in him. We got that connection. Like, it's all good between me and the quarterback. Like, I really like this combination right here. There's just been too much positivity out of Pickens in Pickett's direction for, I think, one liked comment like that to be a direct shot at Pickett or to even start thinking there's trouble in paradise between the quarterback and the receiver. But it's not nothing. I guess there's that. I just think it's more about Pickens being frustrated that he wasn't getting the ball. And maybe it could have even been more about the offensive game plan and us not taking shots to Pickens more early and often in the game, because there were even times where Pickens wasn't even out on the field in some of the formations, which was really confusing to me. I thought Pickens should have been out there way more than what he was in the first half. Like that goes back to the offense feeling predictable. Like Pickens and Deontay for a couple moments weren't out there on first and second downs. And we would have Najee, we would have 2 tight ends. We'd have Calvin Austin and Allen Robinson. It was like, we're either going to do play action or we're either going to run it up the middle, and the 49ers were prepared for both. Jaden Russo says he is shading KP. You see what the comment said. I did say it's not nothing, but I don't think it's that deep. I think it's more about Pickens being frustrated he wasn't getting the ball in general. And here's the other thing, though. With Pickens' personality, I don't think that's anything he wouldn't say to Pickett's face, though, either. I think he'd be straight up to Pickett and saying like, "Yo, you got to get me the ball more. Like, we got to make this happen. Like, keep feeding me, whatever." I don't think he would be like anti-conflict in that way because he hasn't unliked the comment. You could go on Instagram right now; it's still there. It's still out there. Here's the thing, though: if he has to do media or something this week, that is probably going to be the first question asked to him. That'll be interesting to hear his answer. But yeah, my main takeaway from all this is we're fine. Let's let the season play out more. Things were weird about this game. Actually, do I have yeah, let's close out on this tweet that I found. We got Kyle Shanahan, the opposition, talking about week 1 games. And actually giving an assessment on the Steelers too. He says, first games are weird. You think about it forever, you overthink it. I don't think it says a lot about the Steelers. That's just how games go in week 1. And that kind of sums up everything I was talking about in the meat of this video. You know what I mean? Where I was like, it just all went bad for the Steelers. Things went wrong. We didn't help ourselves, shot ourselves in the foot, but also didn't get some good breaks. Penalties, just it was a terrible combination. And the 49ers took advantage of it, got up quickly, and we just dug ourselves too deep of a hole. But now we got the Browns this week 1. Cobra 429. I mean, this is a good point too. We got outplayed in the trenches on offense, defense. If you can't win in the trenches, you can't make plays that count. Yeah, we did. We got out physical. Now, could that go to coaching, not being as prepared, bad play calls, putting the players in bad positions, the players not playing as well? Like, it's all of that. It is all of that. But sometimes, well, I guess what I'm saying too, with how games go, as long as you can keep it close in like the first quarter to the second quarter, coming out of halftime, like you could start to right the ship, right? You could start to feel out the game a little bit better and get into your groove. But when you get yourself down into a hole that big, you just make it that much tougher on yourself. Think of the Browns wild card game back in 2020. Like, I still don't think that Browns team was any better than us at all. But we got down like 20-0 or 21-0 in the first quarter because of our own mistakes. We threw picks. Pouncey snapped the ball over Ben's head. It's just, even if you are the better team, or if you're not, even if you're not the better, whatever it is, these are NFL teams, and this is professional football. Like, these guys do this for a living for a reason. It can be tough, even if you're going up against the worst of opponents. And in this case, we went up against a good team in the 49ers, but got down, double digits early. Yeah, we'll be fine for week 2. I think we do bounce back, and I'll talk more of that, I believe, on Thursday. I'll be back on Bleach Report. We'll be talking about that Monday night game against Cleveland at home. So I hope you guys will tune in for that. Thank you for checking in for this Monday reaction. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was therapy. One of you guys said that earlier in this stream, that this would be therapy for you. Hope that helped. We're talking through it. We're getting through it. And I think the Steelers will be way more prepared come week 2. But stay chilling. Shout out to Bleach Report for having me back on. And until next time, peace.